Alright guys, welcome back. The last video you saw me putting the crickets away, and here's the end result after about, it's been probably about 24 hours, a little bit less, maybe like 20 hours. But this is the next day. We're back in the gecko room, and I'm actually going to feed some of these crickets off to some of my cricket feeders so that you guys can see some of the other different species that I work with and just see how I feed off all the crickets. Here is our cricket bin. You can see that they've crapped all through it already. Their water dish with kind of like the paper towel, you can see it's already been crapped in, and there's actually like eggs laid in this and stuff like that. But this is nasty, so we'll actually change that out. Some of the food has already been gone. You notice that the crumbles were a lot bigger than this. It's already been kind of crumbled up a little bit more than what it was. So I'll probably leave this in here, shake it up a little bit, and get probably some fresh stuff in here for the remaining crickets that are going to be left. But I'll take this out for right now just so that it's easier to deal with the crickets. You can also see that a lot of the carrots are gone. Starting to get a couple fruit flies in there, which that happens because I don't put a lid on my crickets. So you'll get fruit flies in here laying eggs on the carrots and stuff like that. What I'll do with these carrots is actually I'm going to toss them into my roaches so that the roaches can actually eat the remaining pieces of the cricket, or pieces of the carrot and stuff like that, because they love this stuff. Just ran into my garbage can. That was a good time. There's some comic relief for you guys. The next thing I'm going to deal with is the lay box. As you can see, there's still some crickets in here laying eggs, which they're just going to have to get out because time has passed for you guys to lay your eggs, so get out of my lay box. Get these guys out. I think that cricket just flew the whole way out of the container. Alright, if you look real closely in there, you'll actually see little like whitish specks, see like right in there. Those are actually cricket eggs. So there is quite a few cricket eggs in here. As you can see, the cocoa fiber is pretty moist still, which that is the way we like to keep it, so that during incubation the eggs don't dry out or anything like that. So what we're going to do is just take the lid that goes with it, make sure that there's no fruit flies in there at all, and close the lid. And we'll throw this in the incubator a little bit later, when after I'm done feeding off all the crickets and stuff like that. Next thing we're going to do is get all the crickets out of the tubes and move them around a little bit. With the cricket tubes, I'll usually stack them in a corner, and I'll show you why we do that here in a second. But by doing that, it gets all the poop and stuff out of the tubes themselves for the most part. Not to mention all the crickets. And then what we'll do is tap off this, make sure that there's no crickets crawling around, just set it to the side. We'll do the same thing with this one. Get all the crickets off of there. And as you can see, the crickets are already starting to climb up the tubes. It's one of the things that at cricket breeding facilities, they kind of use that to their advantage as well, because crickets like to get to a higher spot than where they're at, try to escape, if you will. But as you can see, they're all kind of crawling up the tubes. And that's what we want, because then we take just an old Vionate container that I have. I use this as my cricket cup, and we just kind of shake them all down in there and do the same thing a couple times. See, there's no crickets left in the tubes. Oh, just probably killed about 3 or 4 crickets dropping that. So then once we get had a cricket escape here. Oh, there he is. Just throw those in there. Alright, once we get the crickets into the tubes, or out of the tubes into our container, we take some calcium powder, which got to get my spoon out of here. There we go. Take some calcium powder, just throw it in there, maybe 2 scoops. Doesn't really matter. If there's any extra, it just kind of falls off. And then we just kind of shake and bake them. And as you can see, most of them are all covered with the calcium powder. And now it's time to feed these guys. Whenever you put the tubes up like this, you just want to make sure that they can't get out. So usually I'll set them back down in because there's already crickets in them. The poop's already out, so once the crickets get in them, it's easier just to throw them in there. So what we're going to do is come over and feed some of our geckos here. This is one of my frog-eyed geckos, one of the giant frog-eyed geckos that I have. I'll see if she'll come out. I don't really want to stick my hand in here because these guys are a little vicious, actually. But she's actually back there. Hopefully you guys can see her. Got like this headpiece thing on so that you guys can... So I have both hands available. And then what we do is just throw a couple crickets in here. And then she should eat them. She might be a little bit scared just because I went through and cleaned all these guys. That's why it's a little bit damp in here as well. Because I just went through and cleaned them all before I fed them. And she really has no interest. I'll see if I can rile her up a little bit so you can see what these guys actually do whenever they're scared. You can see her moving her tail like that, and it actually sounds kind of like sand shaking. Kind of like how a rattlesnake rattles its tail. And as you can see, they are not scared of people at all. They actually will come after you. But we'll leave her alone because we got a couple other things that we got to feed here. And I don't want to run out of time on our camera here. Here's our male. Throw some crickets into him, see if he'll go after them right away. But same thing, he's kind of scared right now. You can see him licking his lips. Hopefully I'm aiming the camera right for you guys so you guys can see. This is another one of my females. I have 1.2. She's in the back again. Probably getting warm. We'll see if she'll try to eat any of these. See if she'll go after them so you guys can see it. Yep, she's coming out to investigate a little bit. She's actually probably the calmer of the three, but I'm sure she'll still rattle her tail at me. Yep, see how they move their tail? Oh, she almost got me. But that's for good TV, right? Alright, so that's the frog-eyed geckos that I have. Try to see if any of my knobtails are out here. Nope, she's probably hiding underneath her hide here. This is one of my knobtail geckos. This is a female. She was just chirping at me there. They're like little dinosaurs. Throw a couple into her. I just brought these guys out of cooling, so hopefully... oh, she just ate a cricket. Hopefully you guys got to see that. Just throw those crickets into her, and yep, there she ate one. She'll probably go looking for the rest of them. How she puffs up her tail a little bit. It's kind of funny. She's actually het albino. This is just another Levy's female that I have. This is just how I set them up for breeding too. They have a little lay box. She's actually back in the corner back there. I put the ceramic hides there so that they can get up into the lay box. They're not very agile, so it's hard for them to crawl up. This is just another Levy's as well that I'll throw some crickets into. This is one of my Willer-eye. It's a male. He's back there chilling on his thing, on his hide. He's actually going right after him as well. Oh, he got one. It's kind of cool. Somebody asked me what we do with the bottom of the racks. I put my cave geckos in the bottom just because it's not as warm as not as warm as the rest of the rack, just because it doesn't keep the heat as well. Yeah, you probably saw one of the cave geckos down there eating. So that's where I put all my cave geckos, is down in the bottom here. Let's see if any of these guys come out and get their crickets. That guy's looking for one. Oh, one in the back got one. I love the cave geckos. They're just pretty awesome. And basically we just go through and dump crickets into all the cages. Here's some baby cave geckos that hatched out. They're about a year old now. That one got one. Cave geckos grow very, very slowly. So it's one of those things that it takes a while to reproduce them. We got some more cave geckos over here. I'm actually just going to open up all of these at the same time and then just go through and dump crickets and shut them. There's crickets, crickets, crickets. Oh, put quite a bit in that one, but that happens. They'll eat them. The dishes that I have in here are usually for their mealworms, because they'll actually eat mealworms as well. Oh, there was water in that one. Hopefully those guys don't all drown. It's a bad part about crickets. They get in the water dishes and drown themselves, which is never any fun. All the cave geckos that I just went through and did there, those are all my hyanthus that I have. Most of those boxes, there's usually like 1 male to 3 females. Some boxes have 2 females, some boxes have 4. Some boxes don't have any males in them as well. And then over here, got 2 more groups of hyanthus in these. These guys are already eaten. It's pretty cool. This one has some hyanthus in it as well. This one has my other species in it, my Arrhenius. That's the female. She has a cool jungly pattern to her back. I think the male's underneath here. Yeah, there's the male. A little skittish, but they're very, very cool as well. Over here on the bottom is where I have, looks like more hyanthus in this one. And then we've got some Louis in this one. You can tell they're the Louis because they have 3 bands instead of 2. I'll see if I can grab a hyanthus that has the bands on it so you can see the difference here. See how this one only has 2 bands on the body, 1, 2. Then if you look at the Louis actually have 3 bands, 1, 2, 3. That's one of the main differences, how to tell them apart. There's a couple other differences, like the Louis get bigger as well. But that's how you can kind of tell the difference between the two. These are more Louis right here. And some more Louis right here. Hopefully they'll start coming out. Get back in there. Actually, we'll just throw it in there so that they can get them as they wish. Alrighty. So that was pretty much me feeding off a lot of my cricket feeders. There's still plenty of crickets left for the rest of the week. And then what we're going to do basically is just get these tubes back in here. See, there's still quite a few crickets left. What I'm going to do with the extra calcium powder, I'm just going to dump it onto the crumbly stuff there. Put this back in so that they can eat. And then put these back in. A little bit of separator for it. Put that back in. Throw these back in. I'm going to change out the water container. I don't know how much time I have left on the video, so I'll see if I can do that real quick. Put their dish for carrots back in here. The other thing that you can tell too is that they've been eating their carrots because you can see little orange poops laying around. That just shows how fast their digestive system is. Basically, these crickets have only had access to carrots for like 20 hours, so it was very, very quick, their digestive system. So we're just going to set this off to the side. I'll show you how we do this. Actually, if you look real closely, see all the eggs along the sides? Those are actually all cricket eggs as well. So what we're going to do is just get a brand new one of those. But I don't have one available right now, so we're just going to end the video there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was the cricket video. Or me feeding off the crickets, I should say. See you guys soon.